work on being in a, we're going to do this both in fundamentals and advanced, so this one being a little bit more advanced. We're going to work on when they've got a full cross face and they've got an underhook. So for the person on bottom, at any point I'm on my back with both my shoulders on the mat, even worse if both my hips are on the mat, so if Lily moves further to her right, I'm put in a very bad position if she gets a cross face and an underhook. It's incredibly hard for me to get back on this. Okay, so I have to some way be able to manipulate her to be able to get a left arm underhook, which is what I like. The fight for half guard primarily, especially if it comes to sweeps or passes, is whoever's got the underhook on the side that's being controlled. So in this case, it's Lily's right side being controlled with my legs, so that's where the underhook fight is for Lily, my left side for me, okay? So what I'm going to be working towards here is, I'm basically going to go into a lockdown. I'm going to go for those who like lockdown. A lot of people are using it more for extension and stalling, rather than using it to get a level of control back. So what I want to work towards is, at the minute, she's really tight, I can't get any of these frames in. So what I want to work towards is my outside leg is going to come over the calf, and then I can bring my other leg free. So originally we're in this position, where I've got the outside controlled. So the cross of my legs is on the outside of her legs. I want to switch it to the other side. From there now, the inside leg will hook shoelace to shoelace. And then naturally, my foot underneath my own calf creates that lockdown effect. And if I was to fully extend here, it starts applying pressure to Lily's leg. But what you're doing in this position is, I don't want you to be actively extending. It's too much damage can be done to the meniscus of the right knee, and there's no need to. All I need to have is enough control that so if she tries to get her foot free, it's easy for me to keep it, or easier. Rather than if I fully extend it, I'm just going to start tearing her knee. And I don't want to do that because all I'm doing is just holding it here. I want to be actively using it, okay? So I'm on the outside initially. I've got both my hips on the mat and both my shoulders on the mat. From here, I cross both my legs over at the same time. I then take the inside leg, shoelace to shoelace, and then the trailing leg just goes to my calf. And I'm flexing my toes up on both my feet, and I apply a little bit of pressure. And what this allows me to do is not only extend, but it also allows me to crunch. You see how it moves the hips? It's going to be uncomfortable for me because she's got this shoulder pressure on, got this underhook. But what it does for me is it means it makes her hips and loads her weight higher, so I can manipulate her hips easier. Okay, so I want to work her towards me here, and then I rotate to my left. And if she doesn't base, she'll go over. But she's not that silly, so she's going to base. Okay, so I crunch, rotate, and straight away it gives me the underhook. And all I do now is, with my right hand, I want to feed under this space I've created on the right knee. My left hand is going to almost give her a bit of a bicep punch. I want to wrap my whole body around at the same time. And get nice and low. I can now relinquish the lockdown, and I'm in this really powerful low half guard. She can't get a cross face here, and she can't put me on my back. Okay? Do that again. So I tried getting my underhooks and I can't, and I've got this outside control at the minute. But if you are on your back, just so everyone is aware of this, if you're on your back, you shouldn't be able to triangle your legs and have it effective. And what I mean by that is if I triangle my legs like we're taught normally, and I try to apply pressure, the mat gets in the way and I can't keep it tight. You can, yeah, there you go. So what I do instead is cross my feet at the bottom and I just pinch my thighs together. She tries to lift that now, it keeps her in place. I then switch those feet to the other side, shoelace to the inside foot, hooks, and apply a bit of pressure. From here now, I'm going to crunch towards me, so I'm loading that weight on me, and then I rock to my left, and she'll base, otherwise she'll fall. From here, this gives me the underhook, and this right arm is ready to feed underneath this leg. And as I do, I swing all the way around, using my legs and my upper body, and get nice and deep in half guard. And I can let go of the lockdown, because the lockdown will hinder me if I keep it. Okay? Any questions? Does anyone need to see it again? No, have a go, everyone. Yeah, so we're doing 2 weeks of bottom half guard. And then today, well, where I'm starting it off with is when they've got such a controlling position. So, just before you do, for those who aren't as familiar with this position, this is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful places or positions from both top and bottom to both sweep, submit, or pass the guard. I'm halfway to getting a full guard or an open guard. I've got one leg on the inside, one leg on the outside, or I'm halfway to getting a good guard back or a more offensive guard if I was in side control, etc. And from Lily's point of view, she's halfway to getting past my guard. And again, for those who don't know, a guard is anywhere where I have control with my legs from the bottom position, okay? And my hips are above hers relative to my body. Any point her hips are above mine, then I don't really have much of a guard. There's caveats to that. So ideally, I want to be on my side when I'm playing half guard and I've got this inside control position where she doesn't have control of my upper body. But we're going to go from the worst case scenario first, where she has a cross face and then she's got an underhook on this side. And the majority of the battle in this position on who's winning will be based on whether or not I have an underhook or she has an underhook on the side of which is being controlled, which is my left, her right, okay? And so what I'm going to work towards from here is being able to get or progress backwards for Lily, forwards for me. And what you have to remember in this is that it almost is complete opposites in this position. In that if I progress, am I sweating? If I progress a certain way or through a few steps to gain some level of control, it's a complete reverse on what she needs to do in order to gain that control back. So if you prefer to pass from top and you remember the steps on how to pass from top, all you're going to do is reverse that order from bottom in order to get some level of control back. And that's important to remember, because then you can start reversing it based on which you know more of, okay? So at the minute, I'm really controlled. I've got both my hips and my shoulders on the mat. I'm in the worst position possible in half guard, other than the fact that I've still got control of a knee. And I'm now going to work towards getting a closed guard back, okay? So the way I work for this is I need to be able to get a frame on the inside of a knee. And if she's tucking a knee in, for what this stops me from doing is getting my forearm on the inside to control her. But what it doesn't do for her is it doesn't give her much base. And if you think about her spine being in line with mine, the more in line she is with me, the easier it is for me to do a barrel roll either way and take her over. The more she's turned that angle and based that knee out, the better base she has, but the more space she creates for me. She can only give me one or the other, or a mixture of both, and I have to take advantage of that and know that if I try and off-balance her and her knee's tucked in, she has to base with the knee. Okay, so I'm using this side of my arm where I've got the overhook and she's got the underhook, so that I can get my forearm on the inside of that position there. So now if she tries to bring her knee back, she can't. What she has to do is she has to bring her knee down my body and then go through and get that knee back. But in doing so, it means I just give her another bicep punch again. So as we get to this point here, as she starts bringing it down, she goes over. Okay, so just be mindful of that. It's not what we're going through, but just be mindful. So she's got her knee close, and all I want to do is give her a bit of a nudge. She's going to base the knee out. And then she's going to put me flat again. But I've got my forearm inside her hip now and inside her thigh. What I want to do now is I need to be able to bring my knee to my right elbow. In order to do that, I need to be able to turn onto my right hip. At the minute, if I do it, I'm just near in the back of the thigh. And so I need to turn my hip out, my left hip, and use my left foot to turn out. Which now allows me to connect my knee to my elbow. But if I just do that and I stay here, she can just bring that right leg out. And then I'm losing it. Okay? So I need to make sure that when I do this, I've got enough pressure with my right forearm, and I'm going to basically just crunch my body up to this position. And then if I have to, with my left foot, I'll control the other leg. And I've now created this barrier between my right elbow and my right knee. And that's all we're going to get to initially. Okay? So we're in this really bad position where my right leg, or my inside leg, is controlling her inside leg. I can't get this elbow in, so I just give her a bit of a nudge. She bases, she comes back, and my forearm is in place. If I try and bring my knee now, it's being blocked by her left thigh. So I just use my left leg to hip escape out, and my left shoulder into the side of the head. I can now start bringing that frame in to here. And this is where I'm going to get to initially. Okay, I need to be able to create this, and I want that knee to pop out of the hip. I don't want it down here. Okay, it's got to be popping out, and I'm active with my right foot on the mat here. Okay? If Lily was to try and extend me out with her left arm, I should be able to keep that frame. Okay? One more time. That's all I'm getting to initially. Okay? Any questions? Have a go, everyone. In that, once you get that frame in and you're bringing that knee through, I'm reinforcing it off the mat with my right foot. What I want to be looking to do now is I need to be able to give myself more space as I'm doing this. And so what I want to work to, or I may have done this before, is I may have even worked towards getting a frame in. Okay, this is more powerful if you can get this. Okay, but it won't stop you doing that first bit if you can't get it, because sometimes I just hide the head so well and that I just feel like I'm going to wrist lock myself doing it. Okay, so I can still work towards getting to that position. And now I've got that frame in, I can then work towards this. I then work towards, whilst keeping this and applying pressure, my right hand now is going to go on the inside of her left bicep and reinforce it. And then from here now, all I'm going to do is a forward shrimp, or should I say a side shrimp. And then I go again. All the way through. Okay? So it's up to you on whether you do the left arm straight away, and you might be able to do it from that initial bicep push when I'm getting my right elbow in. To here. From there, hip escape out, bring that knee through, reinforce, hip escape, and close guard. Okay? So back up there. Okay, so bicep in, get the frame in, get the knee through. For some of you, you may find that you're coming over with this. It's preference for me. If you can bring your leg over a row anchor and start extending out, the only problem with this is it's harder to shrimp underneath them. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with this technique, it's just a slightly different way. For me, I prefer that I get these frames in to here, and then I'm hip escaping and hip escaping again. And I almost face the other way to window wipe out that foot. If she brings that right knee towards my hip, I can't get it out if I'm straight on. So I have to be able to turn her out to get my foot out. And then I come flat again. Okay, any questions?